understand if this is even viable for them. And what's interesting about this lesson is I think most people should probably be doing what this gentleman's doing in his swing already. He was launching it really, really high, swing directions going to the right. He actually has what we would call a reverse hip slide. So most golfers get to their trail side, don't really understand how to facilitate rotating to get their pressure to dynamically move from left to right. Hence why it's important to kind of understand that in this video, this individual actually has a little bit of a reverse hip slide where the center of the pelvis gets more over the lead side, and thus he hits out on it. Now, he has pretty decent power, but once again, hooks and pushes are an issue, and so that's why we kind of went down the road that we did. Something to understand about rotation, okay? The pelvis, and you've heard me say this a lot in a lot of their videos, but the pelvis is really kind of your train track to the train. And so if you think of the center of the pelvis kind of anchoring left over here, which once again is fantastic for 95% of the golf population, if you kept it over there and you rotated, you can see that the center of my pelvis is anchored more over here. It allows me to have more hip turn and more shoulder turn early, which is helping me with the hand path working more in to out, okay? Now, if we're trying to zero this thing out a little bit more, and this is why we have different patterns, okay? So that would be kind of what we would call in the MORAD community, more of a CF pattern. If we start getting the more inline to CP patterns, mainly like an online pattern, that pelvis will not be over here. That pelvis will actually be more centered pivot. So we're really feeling in this video to get the shoulder plane to rotate around the axis of rotation, or basically just turning your shoulders on your around your spine. You're going to feel a little bit of loading into the trail leg on the backswing so that the shoulders can actually tilt. And really important, the only way that you're really going to get that thoracic spine to extend is if you get pressure to push off the trail leg. So you can see when I do that airplane drill where I load right and go this way, you can see my spine actually wants to start to extend closer to the target. And obviously that's going to improve low point for some players in a different way than the reverse hip slide, but it'll also create more length in your swing because you have more freedom for your left arm to go higher. So all those things are good, but kind of tread lightly here if you're not drawing the golf ball. So if you're a slicer, if you're somebody who hits the ball too low, and if you're on a radar like TrackMan, your angle of attack is too far down and left, try to go more towards that CF pattern unless you're a swing junkie.
Okay, I'm going to gradually progress you into what you need to be doing, okay? All right, so I know you were just hitting a wedge here, but because you have a left knee issue, and is that outside left knee?
It was meniscus, but I don't know if it's like, it was really under the kneecap, but
Okay.
I know I need to get there, and I'm like a little...
Yeah, well, you are getting there. You're getting there in an interesting way. Go ahead and set up to the ball. Everything that I've seen so far has been extremely high, okay? So let's actually move the ball a little forward in your stance than you want, yep. I want you to load like this in your backswing. So you're gonna load kind of your right hip, and you're gonna feel less turn on your backswing than you want. Your shoulder, yeah, your shoulders are gonna work kind of left tilt and extend, but feel pressure into the ball of your right foot.
Yeah.
Okay? And then I want you to keep your body kind of in this plane of action on your downswing. And I don't want you to jump forward. I just want you just to kind of rotate from there.
Whoa.
Bingo.
Huh.
All right, good lesson. So here's what's interesting. I know you're having struggles there, but you get really heavy into your left side and then you push directly out of it. So
Yeah.
to me, it looks like your upper body looks a little to the right. Your hip is already forward quite a bit, and then it pushes immediately out of that. And so you start launching it really, really high
Yeah.
and hitting way out on it. So you run the risk of thinning it, fatting it, blocking it, or hooking it. So we want to kind of go, okay, I'm going to put you on the other side of this. So we're going to kind of get you more into left bend, more loaded into your trail side, more extended, and then try to hold your body in this tilt feeling longer as you rotate over, which should pull the path more left, hit more down on it, open you up earlier. Yeah, kind of feeling that way. Went a little forward. See how your hip is really like this way?
Yeah.
Try that again. So go ahead and go to the top. There. Okay, now if you were to stay inside your left foot, so like this is your line, you were to start rotating slowly, never got opening straight left foot. Yeah, so you're gonna feel like this is way this way, that way. So almost like you're going, like you're staying back, rotating more and going left, but you're still keeping your shoulder tilt steep and your extension, yep, that way. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Almost didn't load your right hip.
Didn't load it.
No, you went this way.
I feel like I've been working on the wrong stuff.
It's okay.
Yeah.
That's my job.
Yeah.
So load the right hip and you're here, and then go that way. Ooh, that's way different. Good backswing there.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't tell if I had a question about that, but
No, what was it?
well, I just know that sometimes I get up and I'm like here, and I don't know if it's a hinge thing.
Okay.
If I need to be more like there. I just don't know how it should feel from like a wrist perspective, or if something else is causing that.
Okay, that's a good question. So typically, I'm not real manual
Yeah.
on loading my wrists like this,
Yeah.
because I run the risk of overloading the wrists and not loading the body.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean the wrists don't load. I tend to have favor to the wrist loading in transition
Yeah.
than me manually doing it. Now, if somebody is like really underloaded and doing some weird stuff, we might bring some attention to it. But nothing in my mind looking at yours is like, oh, we got to do that.
Okay.
To me, it looks like you kind of hang over your left side too much and don't load your right hip.
Yeah.
And then your spine starts going like this. And then you kind of push out of it. So your arms kind of work this way too much.
Yeah.
They never really look like they come out here, which is why your path goes more to the right.
+7.
So load the right hip, left tilt extend, good. And then kind of spin open from that left. Yep, keep going. There. There you go. And you're finished, and we'll do a few of these. Finish with clubs. there you go. Yeah. That's more like on the arc. So like if your swing direction was, 12 to the right, you'd probably finish more here.
Yeah.
And if it was 12 to the left, you'd finish more here. See, I'm more bent over in inflection.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't prescribe that to everybody,
Yeah.
but you already hit it super, super high.
Yeah.
So your whole system's working this way too much. It wouldn't be a bad idea for you to finish here and work on like flighted balls.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping to do.
Yes,
Yeah.
it'd be good, especially with your mid-iron.
Yeah.
There you go.
Huh.
That should be standard.
Yeah.
Seriously. Okay, watch. So I'm gonna jump in. Okay, so I have this ball position like outside my foot, okay? Now the only way I'm gonna get to that ball, this ball I'm gonna try to hit this as low as I can. So in my brain, and that face is over there. So my brain is like, how do I make good contact to this ball? So like this is back, this is forward. That's the only way I'm going to get to the ball. Now it's not functionally being able to play from there, but this has to be down and forward, this has to be back.
Yeah.
So I couldn't go like this to it at all. So guys that actually play the ball back in their stance, like Lee Trevino. So like Trevino has it back here. I know I'm in a divot, but Trevino has this thing back here, right? And then he aims his baseline left, and then he can actually slide everything up. So this is back like this. Boom, and still hit it, but he hits it out that way. So it's about matching those proper pieces up. So for you play the ball back a little bit because you know your axis is going back.
Yeah.
Right? So play it a little more forward and get a little more of that.
Force myself to do it.
Yeah. I said a little forward, not too forward.
Yeah.
And then to the heel stance line. There. Yeah. Good. Okay, nice and smooth, and then I'm going to help you with a flighted ball. Good. Okay, slightly standard deviation,
Yeah.
right? Still high.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's think about playing for a minute. So I would run like a line test if I was you, and a line test would be like a pitching wedge to about a 7 iron, maybe 8 iron for you because you have more speed. And how well can I start a ball on line? That tells you if your shit's working. Because if you hit it solid and it's 20 yards right, well it's solid, but it's not even functional, so I don't really care. I'd rather skank it on line and know that it's staying on line. So now you know it's functionally staying in front of you. Granted, over time, you want to hit the middle of the face, right? So just kind of looking at what you're doing, it's like sometimes you hit it really solid, but that was 25 yards right. Might be in a bunker, could be in a water. So that's not good. You want to control the bottom, granted, but you want to start it on the right line. That's kind of the king of the matter here. You can add curve later to that.
Yeah.
Now, to me, if I saw your ball starting on line and maybe even starting left and cutting, that would be really weird for you. Like, that's not in your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Not saying you should do that as your standard, but for your flighted, it might feel like that. So let's bring another ball out. Are you guys going to take a nap now after that lunch? Chipotle run. Okay. Ready? So we're going to go kind of lead arm parallel to lead arm parallel.
Okay.
And when I mean lead arm parallel, for you, that might feel like below parallel on your follow through. See how my body's like this on the follow through. Yeah, kind of almost feeling like you're in flexion. Straight around there. Yeah, like that. Now see how your hands are lower? Good. Okay, now I'm gonna up the ante on you here. So we're uncocking the wrist stays uncocked. Yeah. Because we're trying to bring the flight down.
Yeah. Same ball position or?
Yeah, same. So halfway back and then there. Wow, get a tee time, bro.
Huh.
So that's functional.
Yeah, it's really functional. And it doesn't, less bad stuff can happen.
Yeah. So okay. You didn't play like high level college golf.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there's pluses and minuses. This is an argument that, we could have. I know, like, today, do you want to go to college to play professional golf? Maybe, unless you're an outlier. But I think the benefit to it is, like, Southern California is an interesting thing because there's a lot of good golfers. It's not like you're in Wyoming, okay?
Yeah.
So you're kind of tested against your peers, so the chances of you not having to go to college to play good golf is pretty high, like, because you can test against really good players. But sometimes the advantage of maturity, like for a lot of these college players, is like, oh, like, I don't need to just send it. Like, I see a lot of college kids that just send it, and then they are okay with a wedge, and then they get a 9-iron in the hand. They can't fly the ball to a back pin to the middle of the green.
Yeah.
It's just like they're not going to do it. Well,
they have one swing.
yeah, and so you're not going to play PGA Tour golf because you don't have that skill set. So I think for you, like that might have felt like a 70% swing, but you saw how like that curvature was pretty tight.
Yeah.
So for you, I would say, okay, how big is a green in your mind? Like when you're hitting in, and that's a 7-iron. So
How big is a green? I mean, probably like a 30-yard circle, basically.
okay, fair.
Yeah.
So do you
Is
think
that a big green, actually?
that's pretty big?
Okay.
But that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I was playing, let's say here, and I'm coming in with an iron into a green, not a par 5, which would be a bigger green, but maybe a smaller green. Let's break that down to maybe like 18 to 20, somewhere in there. And at Pinehurst, where you're going, they're predominantly going to be some bigger greens, but they're going to have false fronts and all that kind of stuff. So if you hit the middle of the green, or you aim for the middle of the green, and you're probably going to draw balls because that's your pattern, we're going to imagine that here. Okay, so if we have a line going to that blue flag, and we miss anything to the right of the red flag, that's hitting a false front.
Okay.
But in my brain, I'm okay with that because it's in my wheelhouse, and I didn't make some egregious club choice decision that's going to leave me in a bunker that I can't get up and down from. Okay, that's where I want your brain to be on this. So let's do that same feel 5 times,
Okay.
and do the same exact motion. So this is where you test to see if this actually works. Yeah, there you go. So flight was good. Start line a little right.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say that hit the false front.
Okay.
Okay. So how do we pull that start line more and more to the left?
It's from the pelvis, right? So I gotta.
Feel more that way. Yeah. Yeah. So a lot less of this through the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And is that just me thinking like I gotta push like 11 o'clock?
So like in a vacuum, yes. So that would be like AP force.
Okay.
So,
But
but
obviously not just the way.
Yeah, so it's a little more this way opposed to back and up.
Okay.
Damn. Bottom was better there.
Yeah.
Little left.
But we're okay with that.
I am.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Because that's just probably just a face thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't load it.
Yeah. Now, you monitor the behavior a little bit where in between shots, this is my responsibility, not yours, but my responsibility is to tell you
Yeah.
that in between shots, correlate like the matchup of the loading on the backswing to the downswing, loading to the backswing, downswing. So you have like this nice redundancy pattern going on in your head of what gives you the right feel.
Yeah.
Because the only thing you can give me is feel.
Yeah.
I can only give you alignments.
Yeah.
That's it. I can't tell you what it feels like, but the alignment should match up to some feel. And if the further we get away from that, where it's like, oh, I didn't do this, oh, I did do this, okay, now what do I have to do? Like, that's not the right response.
Yeah.
It should be, it's this, it's this, okay? There we go. There we go. Golf shot.
Yeah. It's crazy how